Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Everyday Excellence. I'm your host, Todd Baldwin, and today we have Nathan Payne, the owner of Payneless Flipping. Nathan, how you doing?
I'm doing swell. I'm doing good. Feeling good. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, I was excited to chat with you today. We do a lot of work with real estate investors, and I know you're in the coaching side. So instead of me trying to explain exactly what you do, tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and what you do and where you're from.
Yeah, so I do real estate investing, wholesaling primarily nationwide, all over the United States. I live in Canada actually, so I do it all from remotely from, the great north. I just moved here like a year ago. I'm actually from Salt Lake City, Utah, but yeah, I've been doing it for about 8 years now, wholesaling, and I got into coaching just because I saw the way that a lot of people that were learning wholesaling, especially like the way I learned, I feel like it's unethical a lot of the times. I think it's wrong. I think there's a better way to do the business. So I've been teaching it for the last like 3, 4 years, and what I do is I partner with my clients that I work with. We do deals together. I find that most people that start out don't do deals because they don't. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in a deal. So that I just get in there and I get in the trenches with them, right? And I have that set up so people can learn as they earn. So that's what I do.
I like that. Learn as they earn. I like
That's
that. I
right.
haven't heard that one. I like that, Nathan. So, all right. So you've been in the real estate investment space, you said for 8 years. So let's go back. Tell us a little bit about what you were doing before then and what got you started on your entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, man. My journey started, I got back. So I went on a mission for my church for, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. A lot of people call us LDS or Mormons, but I went on a mission for my church. And that's kind of like where I got my start of just knocking doors, getting rejected every day for hours. Nobody wanted to talk to me, which is fine. That's just what you sign up for, right? And that's after my mission, I got into door-to-door sales because I was just knocking doors for like 2 years talking to people, about Jesus. So that's where I kind of went into being an entrepreneur that route. Then I was doing door-to-door sales all throughout college, paid for my college, did well. A lot of people don't know too much about the door-to-door industry, but it's pretty lucrative, especially for like a college kid. You're making good money. So I did that. And after I graduated from college, I was like, man, I don't want to knock doors for the rest of my life. So I was like, what can I do to what can I do for a job? Because I had gotten married, didn't want to do door to door. So my buddy, while I was in college, was doing wholesaling, and I was always trying to get him to recruit him to come sell with me, but he wouldn't, and I wouldn't go work with him. But after college, I said, "Hey, are you still doing real estate? I know you can make some good money doing that." And he's like, "No, I went and got a corporate job, but I want to do that." So I was like, "Well, let's just start a business. Let's just start wholesaling. I heard about that. Let's just go into it. Let's just figure it out." So he quit. I stopped doing door to door, and we went all in and tried to figure it out.
Love it. You took the entrepreneurial jump. You jumped off the cliff, as I like to say, right? Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur until it's time to jump.
Yeah, I always felt like kind of the door to door route, the mission route. Kind of always felt like I was on that journey where it's like, hey, I'm earning what I kill, right? Like I earned what and door to door, it's just straight commission. So I wasn't afraid to just go for it. And yes, it was just a different industry, right?
Sure, sure. So let's talk a little bit about real estate investing. Tell us, for our listeners that don't know, what's the difference between traditional real estate, right, and what is known as real estate investing? Because there's a difference. Explain that for us real quick.
Yeah, so traditional real estate, a lot of people think is like you go on the MLS, you have a real estate agent, you purchase a home and you either live in it, right? Or you maybe have a rental or some that way, like you get traditional financing from a bank and get a rental. Like real estate investing, the world, I think, is a little bit more, it's a little bigger, right? Like there's a lot of ways to make money. There's creative financing, there's novations now, there's wholesaling, wholetailing, fix and flip. So there's a lot of different ways where you're basically looking for opportunities of discounted properties or just opportunities, right? Like to make more money. right? You're looking at it as at that play. I think when I didn't really know about all these avenues. I just thought like, hey, get some rentals, like Rich Dad Poor Dad, buy some rentals, and you're good, which is fine, right? If people want to do that, but I think real estate investing, if that makes sense to everyone that's listening, it's just a little bit more options and exit strategies to make more money on opportunities like discounted properties or properties that you can make money on.
Discounted properties would be off market properties typically, right?
Yeah, typically, right? But you can find discounted properties on the MLS. You just have to know where to look and what the price point is. Like, you can invest. I would say traditional real estate is like going through an agent, right, and just buying a house for yourself. And you can do well doing that. But I think real estate investing is more of like could be more of a career or something that you're doing like as your main focus.
Sure. So what percentage of your business is still doing the wholesaling side versus the coaching side?
It's a good question. It's ebbed and flowed over the years. I would say more now. We're doing more deals with students because we're getting better at helping people through that process of getting to the end. I would say like probably 70% coaching, 30% real estate deals at the moment.
I got you. You talked a little bit about this, but there's so many real estate investing coaches out there, right? So we work. I'm a digital marketer. You're in real estate. I love talking to entrepreneurs. I feel like we have a lot in common because we run a business.
Right.
Um, and we work with real estate investors all over the country. And there's a lot of coaches out there. So what makes your coaching platform different? I know you said earn while you learn or learn while you earn.
Either way, right?
Yeah, yeah, I think it goes either way. I think I said it backwards initially, but dive into that a little bit different. What makes you different?
I would say the main thing that makes me different is most of these platforms or these coaches are education based, right? They're just giving you information. And what I've learned is information doesn't really help anyone without the application, without actually uh, having someone hold your hand or be there for you. And a lot of these programs out there or coaches, they have so many clients that they work with that they can't give people the attention they need, or they just pass it off to someone else. So we're really involved. That's the main difference. It's really the fulfillment. It's like how involved we are with people, how much we care. Um, and not only that, but the strategy we use is different. We have a different philosophy of how to wholesale. We call it pre-flipping because what happens a lot of the time is people are taught just to make low ball offers, like just talk to a seller, make them an offer, even if it's low. Told you they wouldn't accept a low offer, like just make it anyway. Like we don't operate like that. We try to really understand the situation. We get buyers in advance before having the house under contract. Like when you wholesale, you usually get it under contract, then find a buyer, and if nobody wants it, then you go back and renegotiate or cancel. We A lot of the times, depending on the situation, we won't even have the house under contract. We'll just know what a buyer will pay because of our networking and our ability to like know how to run that process. So we'll make offers that like no other wholesaler can compete with because like we know we have legit a buyer on the end, like we know what
Sure.
someone would pay for it. So that I would say that's what makes us different is the fulfillment, like how much we're involved in our philosophy and strategy and the method we wholesale.
It's interesting because we work with the wholesalers too, and we work with guys who fix and flip. But it sounds like a key component of your wholesaling strategy is that you actually have a buyer before you, I guess, agree to an offer with the seller. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, a lot of
Okay,
time. And I can
that's
I can
cool.
kinda explain that a little bit more on how that
Sure.
works.
Cool. Go ahead. I'd love to
And
hear.
and actually I do free trainings on this, right? Because a lot of people are like, "What? Like, how do you do that? Is this reverse wholesaling?" Now, this is not reverse wholesaling. Reverse wholesaling, for anyone that's ever heard that, is like I talk to you, Todd, for example. You're like, "Hey, I buy all in the Dallas area 3 twos." So I have a buyer. Now I go look for just 3 twos in the Dallas area. When I find someone, I bring it to you, right? So the flaw in doing that, which we do not do, is we could, after all our efforts, after finding a 3-2 in Dallas, it could just happen to be on the wrong street that you don't like, right? Or on like just something that you don't like about it, even though we were looking for you. Or you might just be like, hey, these guys are only working for me, like helping me. I'm their only buyer. I'm going to give them an offer that might just be something super good, beneficial for me. And they don't know because they don't have any other buyers, right? And you just get a steal of a deal. So what we do is we use data to not use we don't go find a buyer first, we go find the opportunities. And when you're usually talking to a seller, they're not willing to take a low offer most of the time. That's just how it is. Like they can go on Zillow, they can go on Redfin, they can see what their property is potentially worth. So like making a low ball offer usually never works. So what we do a lot of the time is we try to understand the situation and say, you know what, this seller's probably their prices, their heads are in the clouds with the price they want, but they have the right situation where they need to sell for cash. Maybe they just haven't gotten there yet. So without offending them and saying, "Hey, this is where we need to be," we say, "Hey, look, what you're asking for is that's not something I can do, but I do have a couple cash buyers that I work with. Let me just go and see where they would be at, and either I can work with them, I can wholesale to them, or I can buy it and fix it up if I find out that this is a better deal than if I can pay more, right?" And then we will go use data to find out what buyers have purchased a property in that specific area, which is very easy, right? With data now, we'll call those people and we'll just say, "Hey, look, we're negotiating with a seller. We're probably going to buy this deal, but we just want to see where would you be at? Where would you think this a deal if you were to take this?" So we just get their offers, and if we were way off, right? And we're like, "Oh wow, someone would pay way more than we thought," because every buyer's different. Someone's going to look at the property like we get offers all the time that like are in a range of $100,000. Like we'll think it's worth 120, and then someone will come up and offer like 220. So it's
Wow.
really hard for us to gauge what someone will pay because everyone's all over the board. So anyway, that's what we do. Instead of like offending them when they're not ready yet, we go and do the legwork because we know the situation makes sense. And I don't think a lot of wholesalers do that. I think they make their offers and they move on and waste their time.
So by talking to these buyers and getting some data on them and what they're willing to pay
Hmm.
can help you guys and decide whether or not that's still an opportunity worth to pursue, right? Because like you said, it may be you may initially think that they're wanting too much for the house, but then you're talking to buyers, and lo and behold, hey, this guy is willing to pay X, which now makes the deal attractive, right? And
Yeah,
so
and it could blow your mind. You could be like, "Wow, I had no idea." Like for me, and from the data, it says that this is only a deal at 170, but this guy's willing to pay 230. Why? Because his grandma wants to live on that street and he wants to buy for his grandma. Like there's so many situations that,
sure,
and the issue with wholesaling is like the wholesaler will. There's a lot of situations where sellers are like, "Hey, I need to know. Like, I got things happening in life. I need to know. Like, is this good?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah, I can do 170." And they'll go and they don't find anybody, and then they go back and like a week later, like, "Hey, I can't get it done." When in all reality, that just messed up the seller's flow, right? They didn't have the time and the opportunity, but they thought it was a done deal. Anyway, that's why when I say it can be done unethically, is you're telling someone like, "Hey, I can do it." And a lot of the time, in order to beat out the competition, you're like promising, "Look, I'm good for it," but they don't really know until they find a buyer.
right, right. That's the thing about wholesaling. A lot of people don't know is it's not a done deal until they find that buyer. But yet the seller thinks, "Hey, I've got a
They
deal to
think it,
sell my house."
yeah,
Yeah.
they think it's
So
done.
yeah, and so that's I think where some I don't know what's the word, I don't know, negativity or you'll hear people complain or whine about wholesalers, but there's a lot of them out there that don't know what they're doing and they're lowballing or they're just making an offer and they're moving on down the road. Whereas you're doing a
Yeah.
bunch of research beforehand to actually, so when you do make an offer, hey, it's high probability that deal is gonna go through.
Yeah, we win a
Yeah,
lot of deals where there's like a lot of experienced wholesalers that are making offers. They're even higher than ours, but their due diligence is like 7 days, 14 days, right? Because they need that time to find that buyer. And their earnest money is like 1,000 max, right? They usually like $100 or 500. They're not willing to put up non-refundable earnest money. So we come in with a real offer that's like, "Oh, we already know that so and so is willing to pay 200,000. We're going to put down $50,000 of non-refundable earnest money with 0 days of due diligence." But it is less of an offer. Like the sales price, purchase price is less, but it's a done deal. It's like for sure. So we
sure.
beat out other offers because there's certainty involved, right? Like we know what's going on instead of just waiting for the seller to say, "Yes, I'll take your offer," and then doing the legwork. Like we don't wait.
Yeah, no, I like that. That's an advantage, I think, competitive advantage against all the other wholesalers out there. When you guys are looking for students, or students are reaching out to you, right, to inquiring about your coaching program, what kind of experience do you want them to have before you bring them on, or does it matter?
No, like we take complete beginners. Like I prefer to work with people that have tried at least to make a call or tried to do the business so they have an understanding. It's usually kind of difficult like when someone doesn't even know what any of the terminology is or hasn't even tried, right? They just watched the video. Like we'll work with those people because we can work with anybody from like A to Z, but I like working with someone that's actually tried it. So that's my answer.
Well, sure, because then they know what the how hard it is or what the struggle
Yeah.
is, right? I mean, they see the value in having
Yeah,
a coach, right?
yeah, realistic expectations, right? Because a lot of people, unfortunately, with like social media the way it is now, and you know, that are out there, it's like, oh, make so and so much money in 30 days or 14 days. It's like, yeah, I've made money on a wholesale deal like within under seven, like in 3 days, but that's not the reality, right? Like that's not that doesn't happen majority of the time. So, but it's very important to have realistic expectations, and I think being an entrepreneur in general, you need realistic expectations.
Well, social media doesn't help because there's all this fictitious, glamorous, lifestyle, or oh, it's so easy, or hey, I just made 80 grand on this deal, which can definitely happen. We have a lot of clients. I love those kind of stories, but it's not the norm, right? And a lot of times, those guys making those deals is because they have experience, and they have creative ways to get deals done. So, I'm
Right.
curious, what do you think your students value the most about how you teach, Nathan?
Well, I called a couple of them yesterday, and a lot of them were saying that we have performance coaches are also in our program that help them not only they help them with their mindset and hitting their goals because that's really important. Like this, as an entrepreneur, is very you got to stay mentally strong, right? So that's super big. How involved we are, like we work with our people. We actually do deals with our clients, so like they see how the process goes. So that's I would say that's what they enjoy most. So I would say how responsive we are and how involved we are in the deals in their journey.
When you do a deal with them, how does that work? Are you so you do a deal? Let's say you do a deal with a student, and it's 20 grand, right? It's a 20 grand deal, kind of a basic
Hmm.
wholesale deal. Do you guys are they keeping that 20 grand as part of your coaching? Hey, I'm going to take a percentage of that, or how's that work?
Good question. Yeah. So there's three different splits. So it's 70-30 if they just give us the lead. So that means they get 30% and we get 70. They had an opportunity that they talked to the opportunity and they said, hey, this seems hot. This seems warm. They send it. They book a call on our calendar with us and the seller, and we'll talk to them, and we take it the whole way. Right? We negotiate the deal, get it under contract, find a buyer, transaction coordination, close it. They get 30%. Right? Um, if they get it under contract themselves, and we just have to find a buyer for it, they get 60%. We get 40. And I said there were 3, but there's just 2. It's they either
Two.
just give us the lead and we take it, or we find them a buyer. Those are the 2 ways we work with people. And majority of the time is when they come in, it's like a process where they graduate through. It's like they come in, they start, and they set the leads up on our calendar where we call the sellers, and that's like where they start. And eventually they get good enough where they're like, oh, I can just get this under contract myself. I need help with the buyer, and then they do the whole thing. They graduate, they scale, and they move on.
Okay, how long is that program from start to finish? Typically, are you working with a student?
We have a year long, but yeah, I would say a year. But what I was gonna say is, we don't ever like just shut people out. Like if they want to connect with us after, like yeah, we can. But we basically get them to the point where they know how to do deals, and then they go on to bigger things, or they stick around. Right? They keep coming to the calls, but in a year,
I
that's
get
the
you.
time.
So, is your approach more focused on mindset, systems, deal strategy,
It's
execution, or all the above? That was a lot.
there's a I would say everybody's different, right? Some people need the mindset more than others because they're not doing what it takes, right? Maybe they feel like um nervous about doing the initial actions. Some people are doing it, but they need better sales skills. So it really just depends on the specific person. Um yeah, it's all above, all the above.
Sure. Sure. Everybody's different. Everybody's got a unique skill set. I would think that would be in all the above too. Let's talk a little bit about marketing, in particular digital marketing or any kind of marketing channel in the REI real estate investment space. So you have these students that come in and you teach them how to work deals, right? How to identify good opportunities, how to work through the whole process, actually get it closed, find the buyer. What about leads? What do y'all do as far as talking to your new students about how to get leads?
Yeah, so there's 2 buckets we send them in. So usually the students that we come in, we recommend that they or do like a PPL form of lead gen because those are people that are raising their hand, pay per lead, right? They're paying for a lead cert to come in, and yeah, we recommend PPL platforms, and that's pretty much it. We've taught for a long time. I taught people how to like pull lists, cold call, text, and I just found that most people aren't willing to do the volume necessary to see the results for long enough. So it's really that's one of the buckets is you're willing to pay for leads and you have the runway, or if you don't have any budget, we teach people how to find buyers for other wholesalers that aren't maybe are focusing on the acquisition side a lot and not really giving the effort on the dispo side. We teach people how to find those because there's a lot of platforms these days that just have a ton of deals listed, and we teach them how to reach out, how to explain what they're doing, find the buyers using the data, and bring buyers to other people's deals, which we call JVing or co-wholesaling.
Do any coaching around, and I get the whole paper lead. There's a lot of them out there. Quick follow up on that. Is there any particular paper lead companies that you like? I'm sure you've tried them all, but
That
any of those jump out?
no, I can't vouch to be honest because they all you're gambling. You're just basically like you don't know what you're gonna get. You're just sometimes you're gonna like there's not like one provider that's like, every lead from this person is amazing because that's just not how it works, right? Like
Our
there's
reality. Yeah. I've
yeah,
heard good things, um, good and bad about all of them. Probably. I
it's
mean, if we went through a
expectations,
list.
right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if
I
you
mean, it's
understand if you understand as a wholesaler, it's like it has nothing to do with the lead provider. I believe like they're all doing the same thing. They're all pretty much putting out the same message.
sure.
Like, when it
Sure.
comes to the pay per lead people, I mean, there's other avenues, but when it comes to them, they're either doing, like, online ads or, like, who knows, where they're getting their leads, to be honest.
They're looking what we call the motivated seller, right? Somebody that's motivated to sell their property, preferably, at a discount. Could be for many reasons, going through divorce, could be maybe they got the house in probate, could just be, they don't wanna fix it up, right? So all these motivated sellers is what everybody's looking for. So I was just curious if there's any that jump out. But let's,
It
I wanna ask you about credibility. So do you do
yeah.
anything or coach anything on your guys, ladies, students on, to make sure they've got some credibility built up? Meaning, hey, I'm talking to Nathan, the homeowner. What if they want to go check Todd Baldwin out, the guy who's trying to buy the home? Any kind of coaching there that makes them look legit, a real business?
T You know what? I used to have a credibility packet that I would have people make where it would, like, explain, like, who they are as a company, their employees, like, it would just be like a PDF that would break down, like, their companies, and I have make and I had one too, but I stopped getting a lot of that, a lot of people asking for that, years ago, and I haven't had like clients come up and be like, "Hey, this is a big problem." I think it comes down to like the sales process. Like if you're completely terrible on the phone, I think people are going to be concerned. But if like you talk and you act like you know what you're doing, which our process does, right? Because they just qualify it and then they send to us and we know what we're doing. We don't really get that objection. I used to get that objection when I was new, but I don't get that anymore. So no, not really.
Do you think there's marketing channels where investors or coaches are wasting money in their marketing?
I think every marketing channel can be a waste if you don't do enough of it. And that's where I got myself caught up in the issue. Like I started doing mailers when brand new. I'd send out like $5,000, $10,000 like in 3 months, like in one hit, thinking I would get a deal. It's just like that's just not the reality. It's not how it works. You got to be consistent. You got to do it for a long time. It's not like you can just spend $5,000 today and hope and you got a deal in there. It just takes time. You got to build the pipeline. You got to make sure you're good. So I would recommend doing other anything that's inbound. I would say is it is the best lead. So like if you're going to spend $10,000 on inbound leads versus outbound, like your calling and texting, I would much prefer inbound. So nothing's a waste, but I would say some stuff is more effective than others.
Yeah, you touch on something that resonates with us as digital marketers, and that's budget and having enough money, a real budget to do real marketing and stay in the game long enough for it to actually be optimized and start working. So I tell um, our real estate investor clients or new people that reach out to us all the time. Sometimes we have to tell them you're not ready because you don't have a budget, a marketing budget. The worst thing you can do is throw 5 grand or 10 grand at it and hope I need 2 deals out of this, or I don't know what I'm going to do. Right. I mean, that's the worst thing you can do. And I've told people, I say, you're not ready because you're hoping this marketing, this one little marketing spin is going to produce a sale for you, or you may have financial trouble. The marketing god's already working against you right now. All right. So you got to go into
Uh,
marketing with a budget, a plan, and then you gotta trust the process, right? So you really have to have your mind free and not be stressing about the money. If you're stressing about the money, you're not ready for what we'd say inbound marketing. But I do agree, those inbound leads are the best. It's people looking for you, right? It's someone that's
yeah,
got a problem with the house and they're looking for you. Um,
agreed.
Interesting. Are you a believer in every real estate investor should have a website to showcase who they are, or do you think in today's world a website's not that important?
I think it depends on what kind of marketing you're doing, like how your operation is. I think like if you're just doing a couple deals in your own market and you're not really trying to scale or grow this thing too big and you're cool with just doing a little bit of volume and it's just you, I don't honestly think a website or much proof is necessary. But if you're trying to grow like a company, yeah, I would say 100%.
Sure, sure. What about AI? What do you see and what are you excited about with AI, or what are you concerned with about AI?
Bro, you got a couple hours or what?
We've
I'm
got
just
about
kidding.
5 minutes. No, I mean, is there anything that jumps out in the world of
Oh
AI?
gosh, I'll just say that the world is I don't know what it's gonna look like because I would what I can see it doing and what it's been doing, what I do with it. I'm like I don't even know if I'll be useful in a year, or 6 months. Like I think it could replace me now. So it's um
Well, I
will
think one thing that's important is the human interaction, right? And being able to um, do deals. Yes,
yeah
AI is sounding great on the phone and this and that, but it doesn't replace this, right? It doesn't replace us actually, breaking bread, if you will, via the this Zoom meet or being on this podcast. But at least we're getting to know each other in a real authentic way, right? And so
yeah
I think it's
and
still important. And people buy,
I agree.
right? And so if you're building trust with that home seller, and you're ethical and you have a process that actually work, then yeah, I mean, I don't think AI can replace that.
I hope not. I hope not.
I
I
hope
just
not
I
either. Yeah.
because I know the only reason I'll come at you with this is just like I do think there's some people in the world that are just don't want to interact with the world. They want to live in a different reality. They want to have a little human connection as possible. So it's like some people probably will go the route where like, hey, how can I not talk to anybody and get this done, right? So I think it's going to come down to who you're working with. I think will always be a category of people that don't wanna deal with that AI or technology or stuff, and there's gonna be people that are like I think it's gonna be split, maybe not down the middle, but it's gonna people are gonna be like, "No, I don't do that, I don't feel right about it," and there's gonna be people like, "Oh, this is way more this is faster, more convenient." So, we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, in our world, we deal with AI. We're all knee deep in it. We started monkeying around with content on AI before years ago, before ChatGPT or any of these LLMs were even out
Yeah.
or known. And so, but what's interesting is, in our world, business owners always are going to need help with marketing because a lot of business owners, they just don't like it, they don't understand it, and they don't want to understand it. They just want to,
Yeah.
I want to do XYZ, and I want someone to help me. So we just embrace it as a way to make us more efficient and help us with the things that we're still doing. A couple of follow up questions for you. I'm just curious, what does success look like for someone inside your coaching platform?
I used to think it was just doing a deal. Like, hey, if I can get everyone to close a real estate deal, that's success. And that was success for me in my mind. But I think success for people is like progression, advancement, just getting maybe making that call is success, right? Like they didn't feel like they could do it, or getting to that next step, or believing in themselves. So I think success is different for everyone. For me, I want everyone to do a deal, but unfortunately, not everybody does a deal, and that's just because the circumstances, whatever they're doing in their lives. Not I can't make everybody do the actions to get them to close and scale, but I would say progression is the goal, right? Help them get closer to where they want to be.
I got you. What kind of transformation are you most proud of seeing in your students after working with them for 6, 7, 8, 9, even up to a year?
We will work with a lot of people that have full time jobs, and then they quit their jobs and they do this full time. So I would say that's a win. We really like to see that when people
That's a
can
cool
make this a
feeling.
career. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it makes me think of Damon Martin in Atlanta, Georgia. He reached out to us. He had a full time job, and he said, "I still got a W-2 job, but my goal is to do this full time." So we took him from literally his first website and just started coaching him on how we could help him generate leads, how to get his budget, and yeah, he's a full time investor now. Has been the past 5 years. But when we talked to him, he was brand new, and so that was always cool to help him achieve his goal. So that feels good. You're helping people transform their lives, right?
I love
So
that, man. Yeah, no, that's
yeah,
exactly
yeah,
right.
it feels good to help and give back. So Nathan, where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? What are you most excited about in this space?
Oh my gosh, where am I going to be in 5 years?
Yeah, from now until five. Any big goals? Any you know?
Self mastery is my only goal. Like that's all I think about or I care about. Like just being the best version of myself and loving and helping others. Like I used to plan out 1 year, 5 years. I don't anymore. I just like look at every day or every quarter and just say, all right, what am I gonna do this quarter to be better? I used to have goals, financial goals, and I've met a lot of them. So it's like just be the best and grow, always progress. That's the goal.
I
I don't
like
have
that.
much else other than that. Like no company goals. Like is Painless Flipping going to be around in 5 years? I don't know. Well, who knows?
No, I like that. That was kind of a big question. 5 years. In a way, a lot of ways, I'm like that as well. We've got some long term goals, but I really just trying to focus on every day. Just like you said, just really be good at what we're doing today, try to give back, try to make sure my team is being taken care of, and just the little things, right? I think it's kind of like in business when you look at finances and stuff. It's taught a long time ago from one of my mentors. He said, Todd, if you take care of the nickels and dimes, the dollars will take care of themselves, right? So just focus on the little things, and typically that'll help you achieve the big things in life. So
Agreed.
well, Nathan, man, it's been a great conversation. I appreciate you sharing your perspective, man. Love the real estate investor community. Anything you would like to leave us with? And also, more importantly, how can people find you to connect with Painless Flipping?
Yeah, I would just say painlessflipping.com. It's my last name, Payneless flipping.com. My invitation for everybody that's watching this is like, hey, come to our free training. We do free trainings all the time. If you just go to the website and then, if you check out the trainings, you can book a call and we can help you more down the line. And we have a community that's free on Facebook. We give a lot out for free because that's the world we live in, right? Like you digest, see if you like us, and then reach out if you do. So just go to painlessflipping.com and that's the invite.
Sounds great. Well, hey, Nathan, great to chat. I appreciate you hopping on, man.
You got it, man. Thank you.